Hello guys. If you're here, it's probably because you're. Well, this is for people in Canada. It's not necessarily for those. Well, it could apply. Well, it could apply to those in the United States, but um, for those in Canada who are trying to build a computer, these are pretty much the two sites I would rely on for for building a cheap computer or a computer where you will save a bit of money if you build it yourself. So yeah, uh, so far, let me just give you the rundown of this computer that I've selected all the parts. It has an AMD 8 core, the new Piledriver CPU. It's 170 bucks on this website. It has an H60 water cooler with a Asus Sabertooth motherboard, so you know that it's the Sabertooth and it's not gonna fuck up on you. It's really good, this motherboard, and it's only $173. That's pretty good. You could even do. I think you could even do a freeway SLI on this motherboard. I think. Let's have a look. Um, so one, two. Yeah, you could do freeway SLI on this. That's pretty cool. So yeah, this is a really feature-packed motherboard. It's awesome. This motherboard. Look at the color scheme is awesome. You can see it's got those heat pipes on the thing. Yeah, this is one hell of a motherboard. This ain't your motherboard from 15 years ago. This is um this is really nice. It's You can see the amount of quality there's been put into this motherboard. Um, so let's go to back to our cart. So we have the motherboard. We have this RAM right here, which is the best RAM on the market for the price, hands down. Uh, I'm going to build a new system soon. Well, soon, over the next few months. I'm buying parts and uh, doing it over time. I don't have enough money to buy it all in one go. But this is 16 gigs of RAM. It's I mean you could even fit 32 gigs of RAM on this. You could have because these are it's 2 times 8 gigabytes. Each stick is an 8 gigabyte, so you could have 32 gigabytes if you like. Um, yeah, that's pretty awesome. Um, that's it's just the reason why it's just to me this RAM is just quality for your money, and I mean it's just also not just that, but it's not just Corsair that's cheap. It's just RAM in general has gotten a lot cheaper than what it used to be to buy RAM. I remember at one point DDR2 RAM was actually cheaper than having DDR3, but now it's like the complete opposite. And for our video card, I've went for a 650 Ti. This is everything you need to play a game. I mean, it's not the best video card, but to me it's just standard. It's like I wouldn't for me myself, I know how to optimize games so well that I can run any game off of a video card like this. There's no need for a GTX 660, 670, 680. I do have a 680, but seriously, I'm not gonna change my video card before I'd say 4 years from now. I, I don't know. Like, it's just maybe yeah. If I start playing games at super ultra resolutions, but honestly, I think most of the quality that goes into picture quality mostly hangs around the actual colors, the colors that are on your television or on your monitor. Um, Meaning, of course, the quality of your screen. I think one of the biggest things about running HD is just having high quality colors and lighting. It's just like you could. A great example of that is those Aquos televisions that I've been looking at those. I really want one, but it's a little bit too expensive. But if you've got the cash, if you got, let's say, for example, this build, let's say you've got yourself maybe just to be safe, like $1,200, right? And then you go and buy yourself the Aquos television. That would be fucking awesome. You don't necessarily need a really powerful GPU. You can run the stuff in 720p. It'll look awesome on that. The point is that those televisions just have such beautiful colors that anything that is at least 720p looks great. I mean, anything that's like 720p looks great. 1080 looks even better. But again, it's all about the colors. It's not necessarily about the resolution. Um, so yeah, and the advantage, of course, of running at a lower resolution is that you don't need to have a very powerful video card. Well, this is still a powerful video card. It's still pretty decent. Um, oh yeah, and the reason why I went with the 8 core AMD CPU, I know that that a lot of games run better off of Intel CPUs, but the thing is that Intel CPUs are. It depends what you want for in an Intel CPU. If you're looking for core speed, for something that's going to be good at lightly threaded programs, you go for the Intel. But then again, you have these CPUs like the 6 core from Intel, the 3930K and the 3960. Like of course the 3960 is like $1,100, I think. I think you can get it for $1,000 at the cheapest, or you have its cheaper brother, which is on this site. I'll just show you it. The 3930K on this website. It is right now, like the prices seem to vary a little bit, but it's pretty much around $570 for this CPU. This is a 6-core CPU with hybrid threading, so it essentially has you could say it has 12 cores, but it doesn't really have 12 cores. It's kind of weird. But yeah, it has sort of 12 threads, if you will. So that's of course that it's 12 threads. So essentially, the advantage of this CPU is that it has the single core performance, it has the multi-threading, but at the expense of being at $574. This CPU, on the other hand, has not as much threading capability, but it still has some threading. It has a lot more than my i5 quad core, but it's not that great in single core performance. It's okay in single core performance, just as long as you overclock it. I'm sure it'll be decent. Like if you get 4.5, I'm pretty damn certain it's as good as an i5 at 3 gigahertz. Just yeah, it's probably as good as an i5 at 3 gigahertz. Probably. So yeah, and you have it's at $170. You have the other its brother, the 8350. No, the 8350 is let's see, it's $200. Yeah, they do say it's at a higher clock speed. Whoa, it's at a higher clock speed. Oh, yeah, it's at a higher clock speed, but you can overclock it yourself. So, I mean, that's just bogus right there. You don't need to get this one. You can save yourself like 20, 30. Wait, 200 minus 170 is 30. But yeah, you could save yourself $30 right there, and just that's. I mean, $30. $30 is that's money that can go towards either more power to your computer or more food in your cupboards. Yeah. And what else? We have the power supply. We have a XFX 650 watt power supply. It's a 80 plus, it's 80 plus bronze. it's not the best. I mean, it's not 80 plus gold. It's not gonna last you 25 years, but it's gonna probably last you a good 9 years if you really want to use it that long easily. Um, and I mean, it's only 78 bucks. It's great for what it is. What else could I say? What was I gonna say about it? Oh yeah, the great thing about HexFX is it's pretty much the same thing as Corsair for the quality and the. Well, I mean it's. I'm not comparing it to the AX series of Corsair power supplies. The AX series of power supplies from Corsair are a lot better. But if you compare this one to the was it the TX series of power supplies from Corsair? Um, Essentially, the TX is like the AX, but TX is just bronze. It's not gold, but whatever. It's perfectly fine. Like you don't have to. It's not gonna blow up. It's perfectly fine. Essentially, when you buy parts off the internet, the first thing you do is you test it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, you return it, and that's mostly how it works. Um, like if you buy parts offline, like if it's like you have about 30 days to return the parts from them being broken, so you have to test them immediately when you arrive. You can't like if you're a guy who rebuilds computers for people, you can't just keep the stock in uh, in your inventory without testing it because you have to make sure it's going to work because you don't want to install a dead CPU on or a dead part for when somebody wants to build you a computer because you'll have just been screwed and now you won't be able to return the part. So yeah, so when I'm going to be building my PC, I have to test all the parts um, when they arrive. So that's pretty much it for the power supply. We have to me, which is a standard hard drive, the Caviar Black 1 terabyte. Uh, you know, it's just like, just nowadays, like, you could be tempted to go for an SSD, but if you're on a budget, all you have to do really is just make sure that your hard drive is defragmented and don't put too much stuff on your hard drive and it'll run fast. I mean, it won't run as fast as an SSD, and it won't run constantly as fast as an SSD. And you'll have to reboot your computer a lot more with a hard drive. But I mean, it is what it is. It's only $94. While on well, not on, but if I got myself an SSD, it would be like uh, let's say for example, you could spend $300 on a 480 gigabyte SSD. I mean, 480 gigabytes wouldn't be bad, but that's not as much. You know, it's just for me, SSDs aren't really viable unless all you use your SSD for is as a to put your operating system on. Like, you buy yourself like a 128 gig SSD and you put the operating system on it. That's that's okay. It, I mean, it's not that great because a lot of if you're trying to, I mean, it's great for the OS. It'll speed up the OS at least, but you can't like if you've got a 120 gig SSD, you won't be able to install all your games on there. Because nowadays, games coming at around 20 gigabytes per game. Maybe not always 20 gigabytes. Some games are like 15 gigabytes. Most of the time, games are about 12 gigabytes on the PC. 12, 13, 14 gigabytes on the PC. Like if you're a newbie coming from the console, and you will get shocked at how much gigabytes it takes. It's quite a lot on PC. Like Halo 4, I think Halo 4 is like 3 or 4 gigabytes, and let's say for example, I think what's that other game? Battlefield 3. I think Battlefield 3 is like 15 or or 17 or 18 gigabytes of space. Yeah, it's a lot of gigabytes. But of course, you need to have the appropriate hardware to keep up with it. And here I have chosen the LG thingamajig. You know, this thing right here, the name code. I'm not even gonna say it because it's just fucked up. But yeah, it's that one from LG. Yeah, that thing. You need one of those to put your well, if you're gonna install an operating system and stuff like that. I don't use discs as much as I used to, but it's still useful to have, and it's only 15 bucks. Like they're on NCIX, they try to sell you the Asus version of this thing, um, which is basically the same thing, and they try to sell you it for like 25 bucks, which is complete bogus. Like you should always, if you're on NCIX, try to look up the LG. Just what I did is, let's say for your drives, your DVD writers, you just you go into, how do I? Oh, right here. You just select LG, and you'll find these three options easily. Just find, of course, you gotta find the one that's isn't with a bunch of, yeah, basically, yeah. To me, like it's big. Well, it's because I'm used to this part. I have seen this part in a lot of computer builds, so to me, it's like it's very easy to recognize this code. If you need help for me at choosing parts for you, no problem. Just send me a message. I'll help you with that. Um, so that's the DVD drive for whatever. If you're installing games via disk, I hope you're not installing games via disk. I hope you get an account on Steam, or well, I mean, you probably do have an account on Steam, but you gotta. What I was essentially saying is you should probably install your games via download. Although people, you know, a lot of people, most people have sort of a quite a limit of downloads per month, um, so you might want to be careful with that. So here's the G500. It's basically it's the standard mouse for me. There is no other mouse than this mouse. It's standard. It looks kind of retarded at first when you look at it, but it fits to your hand perfectly. And the sort of grip for this mouse is sort of a palm grip slash claw grip. It's not exactly a claw grip, but it's not exactly a palm grip. You sort of let's say you palm it with your fingers. That's the best example I could say for it. You don't palm it with your hand. You sort of grip the bottom here. You sort of grip that with your thumb, and your sort of whatever finger it's called, the two other fingers. That's yeah, very good terms, but yeah, you just put those, and it's just great, this mouse, and it's got so many great features for precision. Like it's just standard to me, and it's only 55 bucks. I bought my G500 when it first came out for $120. It's going for 55 bucks. Um, Windows 7 Professional is basically, I mean, it's only a few bucks more, and you get the option to have more RAM than the 16 gigabyte limit. Although we only have 16 gigabytes, if you wanted to install yourself more RAM, you could. And finally, we have our case, the the Cooler Master half 912 is, again, it's one of those parts where it's one of those parts that's so cheap, it's so standard, it's just, you know, you see everybody's like 5 star, 5 star. It's great. They're not 5 star because it's really that good. They're just saying 5 star because of what they're getting for their money. It looks great. It has great airflow. Well, it doesn't have that many fans, but it has lots of options to install fans. So that's really good. It doesn't have, well, it is high quality for what it is. It's just sorry, it's just that of course I don't know. It's not like a $200 or $300 case, but to me, any person on a budget should really have something like this. And it has I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm pretty certain it has an yeah. You see, it has an outtake fan, and I think it has an intake fan as well. Or you can just as easily install an intake fan at the front there. So this is great for someone with a small video card who doesn't have crap tons of airflow, but doesn't have no airflow. It's sort of in between, sort of really cheap. And of course, it says $48, but they're screwing you up the arse. They're really asking for 58 because that extra $10 is actually a mail-in rebate. And I don't even try to mess around with mail-in rebates. It's just yeah, it is what it is. And I built pretty much the same example on NCIX, and it is a little bit more expensive on NCIX, and you will pay more tax because there's more of the actual computer, and you will pay more tax because there is actual shipping you have to pay for. Because depending on your build, most of the time you can get your computer to be free shipping. And if you pay free shipping, you don't have to pay tax on the shipping. Essentially, shipping is like tax on the computer. So you're saving yourself a buttload of money. You're probably saving yourself 50 to $100, just like shipping plus the tax is quite a savings. I mean, it is a saving, but if you're kind of like you don't want to mess around with building a computer yourself, you probably just want to have these guys build it for you, uh, and then just give yourself some time to learn these parts. Maybe eventually, you can become as good as I am with these parts, but you just have to give yourself time, and it's not that hard. It's just for me, like I'm just constantly checking out parts. Not constantly. I'm not going on every day, but let's say I go on about once a week checking out the latest parts. Nothing much, but usually every few months there's something that comes out, something quite interesting. Um, so yeah, um, that's to me that's like it's really a nice. That would be a really nice computer for someone on a budget. It's like really high quality. It's on a budget, but it's not like on the bones of your arsehole. Like it's okay. It's great. Well, I mean, it's okay. It's great. Well, what I mean by it, it's sort of perfect for what it is. It's $1,000 and you play all the games and it's not gonna overheat. It's not. It sort of has all the bases covered. It has a good CPU, has a good cooler, good motherboard, good amount of RAM, good video card. Well, I mean the video card could be better, but like essentially that's all you need for a video card. We have a really high quality power supply that isn't overpriced. We have a 1 terabyte Chimera Black. That's standard. Like any gamer who gets a hard drive needs a 1 terabyte black. Standard. You have your LG this thing. Yeah. The GH24NS72. Yeah, that's a great name, but I have that in my computer and it's never fucked up and it's great. G500 again, just standard. Windows 7. I don't feel like getting Windows 8 if I'm. Um, I don't know. I do have a copy of Windows 8, Windows 7 here, so I probably won't have to buy Windows 7 again. Oh yeah, that's also you should keep in mind this is with Windows. This is with Windows 7 included in the price. So if you already have a copy of Windows 7, you can just remove yourself $130 right there. That would be pretty awesome if you've already got a copy of Windows 7. Um, great. And the case, perfect. I mean, that's it. Of course, this is my secret little site I use for building computers. I mean, it's really cheap, but you don't save that much, but you do save a little bit. Um, but not bad. It's really not bad. It's great. Yeah, I've said that a million times, but I just look at all these specs and I think that's just I would have something like that just for sort of video editing, a little bit of gaming. The next thing for this would be for you to top it off with an HD television, cause yeah, that'd be it. That's right there, perfect. Anyway, I'm gonna quit babbling on and drooling over these specs, and let you guys go. Um, Let me know if you want me to do a series on Far Cry 3 when it comes out. I really don't know what I'm gonna do or about it, or I don't know what I'm gonna do for Far Cry 3, um, or if I'm gonna have the time for it, because I'm working a lot more recently. So this has been a really long rant from the drunken Kajit, and now I have to go. I've got work to do. So see you guys.